Welcome back to MotoAmerica Live Plus. We're at the Barber Motorsports Complex here in Alabama, Birmingham. Roger Hayden, we've just seen our first race of the weekend, the Twins Cup. That just didn't disappoint. And the next race on track will be for the Steel Commander Stock 1000 Championship. Another category that is not going to disappoint. Great racing as ever in Stock 1000.
Yeah, great racing this year with Hayden Gillum on pole for this weekend. Was really fast. Owns the outright track record here and the race track record, so a track that he goes really well at. Ezra Beaubier doing really good this year, and then also Caleb DeCarroll starting on the front row today.
Yeah, Ezra Beaubier, Caleb DeCarroll, the two teammates riding for the Orange Cat team. And a couple of stories there. We're speaking to Greg Kramer as we look at the grid. Gillum, Beaubier and DeCarroll on the front row. Taylor Knapp heading row 4. Welcome return to the series for him. Nolan Lampkin in 6th, great qualifying. And then our eyes will also be on the 71 of Gabriel Da Silva.
Yeah, great to see him. Going to do the full season. Won here a couple years ago in Supersport in the wet. So Joseph Gennaro there rounding out the 3rd row.
Yeah, and just going back to Ezra Beaubier and Caleb DeCarroll, Orange Cat. A couple of stories. Was the team named after the Ginger Tomcat, or was it a play on words trying to go head-to-head with Red Bull? I don't know. I like both of those stories. They're both pretty cool.
Yeah, but one thing they do know how to do is make a fast bike. Because both their riders have been really fast so far this year. So going to be interesting to see. It's going to be Hayden Gillum had a couple little issues at Road Atlanta, so he needs to start making some points back.
Yeah, as we said, it's a long championship. Of course, the Stock 1000 is not racing in Daytona, so this is race or round number 2 for the Stock 1000. Suzuki on pole, a brace of BMWs. We have Yamahas, Kawasaki's, a whole host of manufacturers, but BMW seemingly the bike of choice.
Yeah, there are a lot of BMWs in this class, always has been, and some Kawasaki's, and also Suzuki. There's only a couple of those on the grid, but they're definitely a really good bike and always have been pretty fast in Stock 1000.
This also is a 14-lap race ahead of us, the green flag, and now what a difference 20 minutes makes. So we've now got sunshine here with shadows. So for these guys, fingers crossed, I don't want to be jinxing it, but we shouldn't have any rain interruptions in this one.
No, I don't think we should have any rain on this one, but you never know the way it can come in. The weather here changes so quick, but right now it looks really good with the sun out. We had a little rain about 30 minutes ago, but it was a really short little bit of rain, so I think the track is going to be perfect right now. Not enough rain to wash any of the rubber off, so I think hopefully we can get in a dry race for these guys, and it's looking pretty good right now. And it's going to be a long race, 14 laps for these Stock 1000 guys, and going to see what happens with the tire wear and all that. So many things can change during the race.
And these are the the big 1000cc bikes, the leader bikes, and you talked about it, the weight, and believe it or not, with these little patches of sun we're getting out there now, it's really warming up. And Dunlop made it very clear to me. They said this track is hypersensitive to heat, and if it gets to a certain point, everything just sort of suddenly falls off on it. Are they going to be dealing with that in this one now?
Well, I think with the track changing with the heat like this, getting a lot hotter, these guys haven't seen the track. The sun is just going to make it so hot. Yesterday was overcast. This morning was overcast. So with the track temperatures coming up, it's going to change the grip, which is going to change the settings of the bike. So going to see what happens in the race, but it looks like the sun out, and it's a lot warmer than yesterday, that's for sure.
It is. I can attest to that. And it went from coolish, then it got wet, and then it was, that rain was almost like it just dehumidified a little bit. And now it is really toasty out there and plenty humid still. So this is going to be very, very interesting as they get ready to go on this one. And, I heard you talking about it. There's some really, really quick riders in that front group here, and as it turned out, Travis Wyman with that time, he said, ends up in that 5th starting spot with Lampkin in 6th. So that entire front group, really, of 6 or 7, they're right in the mix, aren't they?
Yeah, the top 4 guys are all into the 25s, and even Travis Wyman, he's only a second back. We know him. He doesn't always qualify that well, but he's one of those guys, when the lights go out, he can always find a little bit extra.
Well, we are looking forward to seeing this one play out for sure. And, of course, always thinking about the points as well as we get ready for this one to fire off. Looking for that green flag at the back, then it will clear, and it is time for us to go racing here. Little long hold again, like they had in that previous race for the Twins. don't know if there's some issue with the back. It was a bike that was leaking fluid. That was the delay in the Twins Cup.
I'm looking out the window and I don't see anything like really sticking out.
All right,
Here
now
we go.
it looks like we're ready to go. Gillum, Beaubier. We're green! Steel Commander Stock 1000 underway, and it looks like a really good launch by the 16 of Beaubier. Oh, so close. Hayden just stays in place. Ezra can't sneak underneath. What a definitive move by Hayden Gillum to say no.
Yeah, I mean, Hayden wanted that. I think he feels like he has, really good pace, was really fast yesterday, that possibly get out in the lead and see if he can just do his race and pull away. But it's a great start by the top 3 guys and also Taylor Knapp.
Yeah, really good start by Knapp. And for Hayden, of course, after a really problematic start at Road Atlanta, he is, wasn't even in the top 5 at Road Atlanta. He wants to make good on it here, but we have seen the pace already this weekend from Ezra Beaubier as well. It's not going to be a cakewalk, that's for sure, for Hayden, as that top group pretty much sticking together right now.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy at all. So Caleb DeCarroll's been really fast this weekend, Taylor Knapp. So it's not going to be easy, but Hayden knows, that he needs to start winning races because he has some points to make up.
Hayden's starting to make a little bit of a break here, just rolling some really good speed. This is that final sequence where you're on the right side of that tire for a long time. And on these big bikes, is it better to keep them, keep it pinned to the inside a little bit more as opposed to letting it float because it's tough to get back to the apex?
You kind of let it flow out a little bit through there so you're not on the edge of the tire so long, and also you're kind of braking for the last part of that right-hander, so you want to be straight up and down a little bit. So you're on the side of the tire for a long time. And Caleb DeCarroll just made a huge mistake running wide on the exit of turn 1 and lost just 1 spot.
Yeah, that's Taylor Knapp now has slid through, but the problem for Caleb is Travis Wyman is right there as well, I think. He really not only lost the spot, but he lost some momentum at this stage. As once again, down through turn 5, Hayden Gillum driving up. There you can see the museum in the background. And I'll tell you what, though, Caleb is coming right back after Taylor. He didn't, once he made the mistake, he's closed it right up again.
He can see the top 2 guys trying to pull him away a little bit, and he doesn't want to let that happen. And Hayden's setting a really good pace right now. But look at Ezra's right there.
Let's take a look again at what happened to Caleb DeCarroll, where he lost that bit here in the background, Roger.
Yeah, third rider on the screen. I mean, going into turn 1's difficult. See how it's downhill. He's in a little bit deep, and now he's just, picking it up a little bit, trying not to run off the track where you don't crash, leaned over with a lot of front brake. He lost 1 spot, but it could have been a lot worse.
That is a truly tricky corner. It's super easy to do that there at that part. And how about Nolan Lampkin?
Yeah.
He is absolutely flying right on the back now of Wyman.
Yeah, Nolan Lampkin's on and been fast all weekend, and now he's right on this battle for that last podium spot.
Yeah, it's that bright blue bike right there, floating a little wide down through the bottom of 1. He is glommed onto the back of Travis Wyman. Floats out a little bit wider.
Looks like he has a little bit more pace. He's just having trouble making the pass.
And as wide as this track is, or as narrow as these bikes are, there's the one lane that really works. And if you get off of that big move down to the inside, this time down into 5.
Yeah, he made it, but and he didn't run wide. A lot of times you make that pass into turn 5, you can't get it slowed down. But now Nolan did a great job making a pass and then not, keeping the line and not opening that door back on the inside.
And that's part of making a successful pass, is putting that bike where the guy could make a counter move after, right?
Yeah, because you're a little bit offline, you're inside, so when you get in the middle of the corner, you're going to be a little bit wider, so it makes it difficult. But Nolan did a great job making that pass.
Meanwhile, Taylor Knapp right there, the black number 44, has been able to solidify that position over Caleb DeCarroll on the Orange Cat bike, the 51 right behind him here. These two, they are dueling for that last spot on the podium here. And then there's Nolan Lampkin through on Wyman, and somebody who's really impressing me here is Gabriel Da Silva on that Commander Steel Commander Kawasaki on the number 71. He hasn't dropped that far off these guys.
He's actually quicker than the group in front of him. Last lap was a couple tenths quicker than the guys in front of him. He's starting to close this battle. We're going to have a 5-rider battle for this last podium spot.
This is absolutely great stuff here. Lampkin now setting sail, looking up at Caleb DeCarroll for 4th. And just keeping an eye on the speeds here. Caleb and Nolan last lap running virtually identical times. So Nolan's going to have to dig a little bit deeper here, and those top two continue to float away. He's made up a lot of that ground, hasn't he?
A lot. Really riding well. Now the track is gonna, or the race is gonna change a little bit now. 4 or 5 laps into it, this is when the tires start doing their first little drop. So things are gonna, the bike's gonna feel different. You're gonna start moving around on these guys, and things are gonna change.
It's obviously very early in this championship season, but with Beaubier sweeping the weekend at Road Atlanta, and Jeff May taking a nice chunk of points but retiring, guys like Travis Wyman, Knapp, DeCarroll, they're back in that points order a little bit, so they need to do something here. And right now Hayden Gillum is helping them out a little bit, but they'd sure like to be a bit closer to those two.
Yeah, I would like to be a little bit closer. They don't want to lose that many points again. Travis Wyman looks like he's trying to make the move there up over that hill. That's a tough place to pass, but he almost made it done. But those guys don't want to see Ezra chipping away. They need to get some points back. And then also I think Hayden knows, like I mentioned, having a bad road Atlanta, he's got a lot of points to make up. With the way Ezra's riding, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. Oh, and there it is. Wyman back down underneath, taking that spot back from Nolan Lampkin. And Lampkin in that points battle as well, so he's right up in the mix here. So all of these guys at the sharp end here are playing in that points game for sure. And believe me, folks, even though we're really early in the season for these guys, that's on their minds. If they think they are in it. And look at this, Lampkin, what a game of pass and repass, but he floats wide. Beautiful counter move by Travis.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Where it's hard to keep it tight, but he did drifted up, and Travis knew, sat there and put himself right under him, almost like a block pass in the middle of the corner. And Hayden Gillum, his race pace is just so consistent. His best laps at 25.5. Last 2 laps were 25.8. Just consistently a couple tenths each lap, taking it out of him, and it's just impressive to be that consistent as the tires start to wear out a little bit.
Yeah, I think he is just massively focused after his Road Atlanta weekend and just showing it right now. But, each lap he's anywhere from, 3 to 5 tenths quicker than Ezra, and has stretched that margin out to 1.6 seconds. Just driving an incredibly smooth and calculated race, yet showing some superb pace.
And it's a track that he likes as well. He owns the outright Stock 1000 race record and outright record. So this is a track that he's really quick at. This lap here, he put out another 3 tenths on Ezra, but Ezra's still just losing a couple tenths each lap, but he's pulling away from that group behind him.
He's at least solidifying that hold on second. And I mean, there are days, Roger, right, where you've got a second or third place bike, and at the end of the day, if that's where you end up and you get those points, in terms of a championship battle, that could be almost a win for you. And you're not going to overdo it and throw it away and lose everything, are you?
Yeah, you don't want to do that, especially at this point in the season where you know that maybe you don't have the pace to run with Hayden this weekend. Don't throw it down the road trying to ride way over your head to keep up. Take the points and move on like he did at Atlanta. Maybe next track he might be the guy to beat, but you definitely don't want to give away. Right now, he's got 20 points. If he ends up second, that'd be great for him.
I'll tell you what, since Nolan Lampkin got through on Travis Wyman when he made that repass and they had that duel for a bit, it's lit the fuse for Travis as he is climbing up onto the back right now of Caleb DeCarroll. That margin is down to about a tenth right now, or less at this stage.
And I think Travis is one of those guys that gets quicker as the race goes on, and his pace doesn't really drop. And you can see right now he's closed the gap to these top 3 guys, and they've kind of pulled away a little bit from Nolan Lampkin. And even Gabriel De Silva was kind of catching these guys, and looks like now, I'm not sure if something happened, but he's faded back a couple seconds.
And Wright was just watching that Taylor Knapp ran a really wide line through the last couple of corners, and now DeCarroll gets in a little too hot again into one. That's where he had a problem before.
I think he gets sucked in a little bit on the rider in front of him, and that's hard to do. You want to make up time on the brakes, and when you do that, you're going in the corner a lot faster, and you have more engine braking, goes downhill, makes it really difficult to get to 1,000 stopped. And Caleb's this is his first year on the Stock 1000.
I was going to say, yeah.
The bike's going to be heavier than, so that, makes the going down that hill there a little harder, and it's something he's going to learn.
He was the Twins champ in 2021 and did another season there last year. So it's a big step from Twins up to the leader bikes. And every time he's out on the track, particularly in racing conditions like this, it's a learning opportunity.
And now Nolan Lampkin, that mistake's kind of allowed him to close back up.
Travis has his sights set, and I'm wondering, as I was saying, Taylor Knapp ran a really wide line through those last couple of corners, and Travis, not waiting for that, just dives down to the inside once again. Beautiful move.
Beautiful pass. Got such a good run through that chicane, and that's where the pass started. It started getting a good run through that chicane and put himself on that inside, going into that left-hander. You know, all you have to do is just be a little bit on the inside, and the corner's yours.
And again, Taylor running that wide line. I thought Caleb might try and pounce down underneath, but just wasn't quite close enough at this stage. And there's Nolan Lampkin sitting in that 6th spot. Here's that pass once again, Roger.
Yeah, you can just see the run he has, and now he's on the inside, just a little bit ahead, and the corner's his. Taylor has to give up a little bit so he can make the corner.
So, tell you, it's interesting looking at it right now, isn't it? Hayden Gillum out front on a Suzuki, then 5 BMWs, 2nd through 6th, and then Joe Giannato now has moved up into 7th. As you said, Gabriel Da Silva has faded a little bit. It's Giannato in 7th on the number 48 Kawasaki, Jason Waters in 8th on the 92 BMW, Da Silva on the 71 Kawasaki in 9th, and Zach Butler doing a nice job on the 18 Yamaha up into the top 10.
Yeah, Da Silva obviously, I think, has a problem because his best lap is a 26.2, and now he's lapping in the 29, so I'm not sure what happens, but he's doing the right thing. Even if you're having a problem, keep going. Top 15 pays some points, and just get that experience. It's his first Stock 1000 race.
Yep, brand new team, and so again, for them, laps, just get laps, I would think at this point. Ooh, that time to Carroll attacking a little bit on the 44 of Taylor Knapp. Taylor was able to have a better run through that quick left-right chicane, but there he goes, that wide float out line. I'm just waiting for Caleb to tighten that up and just nick up the inside.
And I say next lap, Caleb sees that, and next lap he knows to try to be a little bit closer and, you know, try to get up the inside there.
Up front, the margin has grown to about 3.4 seconds between Gillum and Beaubier. But then there's another large chunk of change in terms of time back to this battle, and it is a beauty for the final stop on the step on that podium here, watching Hayden Gillum. And again, just clocking the laps. He's backed off a little bit, which you would expect as it's getting hotter out there and the tires are taking a little bit of a pasting, but his drop off is a lot less than others.
Yeah, I mean, still 4 to 5 tenths quicker than the second place guys. The tires go off, and he has a pit board. He knows each lap he's still pulling away, and you know, you don't want him. All you have to do is cross the finish line first. You don't need to win by 5 seconds, and right now he's just going to kind of control the pace, try not to make any mistakes, and hold this lead till the end.
Sort of riding the gap right now, right? He's built that margin, and he can just, if he can just be consistent, easy on the tires, he's in pretty good shape, because if anybody decides to light a fuse here and try and go after him, they're going to probably, as good as these Dunlops are, they could burn him down.
And that's the thing too, when the tires get greasy, there's more chances of making a mistake.
Yeah.
So now he can back it off just a little bit. He's not backed it off a lot, but has, and just not made a mistake. See his pit board there letting him know he's got 3.3 second lead, and it's probably going to be actually a little bit more at the stripe.
Yep. Spot on, up to 4.1 right now. So just every lap he's eking out that 3, 4, 5 tenths of a second over Ezra Beaubier. Wyman turning actually laps now almost on pace with Beaubier, but problem for him is he's a long way back at almost, what, 5.8 seconds adrift of Beaubier.
Yeah, and looks like Nolan Lampkin now's got in the top 5, and Caleb DeCarroll's right there on Travis Wyman. Might try to make the move here into 5.
Here he comes.
Can he hold it tight though?
He did. Looks like, well, now he opens it up a little bit, but that's just the acceleration run. Looks like he got it done, but are we going to see the counter move here by Travis up into the museum turn? He looks to the inside, not close enough, and Caleb is able to sneak through. So I wonder if Caleb didn't make that move underneath Taylor Knapp over in that final couple of corners, and that allowed Nolan to get a run through on him as well.
Yeah, and Taylor Knapp's actually kind of dropped off quite a bit.
Yeah, he has.
Here it is in turn 5. You see how hard he is on the brakes, and this is where it gets tricky, trying to not drift too wide and open the door for Travis. You can see Travis hoping that he drifts wide, but Caleb did a great job holding it down.
And Travis did try and square it up just a little bit to get the run out, but look at these different lines here. A lot wider arc there by Travis on Caleb. He's not just going to let him go, though, and a guy who's really putting in a nice run is the 48 of Joseph Giannato. on the Kawasaki. I mean, he's not that far. I mean, he's a bit back, but he's sticking a little bit with this group up in 6th. He's turning some relatively good lap times now.
Yeah, really good laps. Quicker than actually Taylor Knapp right now, but I think he's too far back to actually close that gap. But, you know, really having a good race. And you see Caleb DeCarroll here starting to kind of pull a few bike lengths away from Travis Wyman.
A little different approach down into 5. Just Caleb likes that little tighter entry, doesn't it? And Nolan Lampkin right there, sitting now in that 5th spot. Like you said, he dropped off just a little bit. His times are still right there, so I think maybe he had a bobble on the lap and it just cost him some distance.
Still great. I mean, this has got to be Nolan Lampkin's best ride ever in any class. I mean, he's right there in that podium battle and looks really good on the bike, smooth and consistent. You know, kind of losing a little bit here toward the end of the race, and I think that's one thing for him now, kind of getting to be in that podium battle, how much he's going to learn and be stronger for the next race. But for him, he's putting together a really good ride. Yeah,
he's 6th in the points coming in here right now, so great run for him, but a superb run for the 69 of Hayden Gillum on the Disrupt Suzuki. That margin now about 4.5 seconds, and he got it to that point, and now you can see, you know, his advantage over Beaubier each lap is reducing a little bit. Well, as I say that, he just really puts in a great lap and gets another 4/10 on Beaubier. But to me, it looked like Hayden was easing it back just a little bit.
And Caleb DeCarroll just did his best lap of the race.
Yeah, he did a 1:26.59. So, and we talked about for Caleb, every lap on these bikes, he's going to learn and learn and learn, and we know he's skilled. There's no question about that. And a little bit of traffic that we're getting a report. I haven't seen it, but that Hayden might be heading into some traffic, and that can always be a bit of a challenge. Yep, there is a couple bikes.
This track is really hard to pass.
There was a yellow flag flying up there too. Yeah.
But for him, you know, he knows he has almost a 5-second lead when he comes up under these guys. He wants to be aggressive, but he doesn't have to take those big chances and just pass them as they come. It is a really difficult place to pass. But for him, you know, just got to be smart. Don't get caught up with one of these guys.
That's one of the benefits of having built that big lead, is you got the time to be mildly patient and work your way through clean. But it's a tough spot in this track to catch him, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's not taking any chances. And then also, if they make a mistake, you could get caught up in it. So they did a good job. They seen the blue flags. They scooted over for the leader.
Yeah, he didn't lose that much at all. And, you know, the thing is, when you get through that clean, always remember the guys that are chasing you, they have to deal with that same bit of traffic. And if they get bottled up, you can end up really opening it up just a little bit here. Down into turn 1 here, Ezra Beaubier on that Orange Cat machine. What a start to the season he's put together.
Start. Yeah. Not only in the races, but practice, qualifying, just, you know, everything's really starting to come together for him. It's awesome to see.
Well, I talked to him on Friday, and or on Thursday when I was here, and I just said, what a way to get your first wins at Road Atlanta. I said, what was the difference? And he said, you know, new team, new approach, new bike, new attitude, and he's obviously just plain upped his game. And it doesn't hurt. A couple of really good riders on those Orange Cat bikes, and some traffic right there. That was Ezra. Here is teammate Caleb DeCarroll.
Ezra's kind of in the same situation Hayden was. Has a nice little gap to third, so he can kind of be patient through the lappers. But Caleb right now is putting in a lot of good laps. But you can see Travis Wyman trying to stay right there. And we got 2 guys, looks like, headed into the last corner.
Yeah.
Not sure where Hayden's coming up to right now, I believe.
Looks like he's taking it really gentle through there.
He wasn't, yeah, right there in the last corner on the outside in a weird spot.
Yeah, that's bizarre. You can see one of the riders just kind of going, I don't get it here. So last turn, and red flag comes out. Red flag has come out. I could see one of the riders, was still down back there, so I'm sure they want to get rescue personnel out there as quick as possible. Best way to do that is the red flag. Is that the 865?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the same spot. The 174.
Oh, the 174. Okay, and that is William Posse, and the 990 of Jesse Ruling are the two in that. So that was just a third incident, unrelated, it looks like. But red flag is out, and at this stage of the race, obviously, as we were heading into the final laps, I'm not sure we're going to have this one restarted here.
They'll declare the race. They'll go back to the last completed lap, and that will be the result of the race.
Yep, so we just get that word that it is done. So Hayden Gillum doing exactly what he needed to do and certainly what he wanted to do after that bit of a rough start by his standards, certainly at Road Atlanta, is coming through just pretty much dominant in every session on the track and winning the race in equally strong fashion.
Yeah, he's showed incredible pace so far this weekend and had that little bit of an advantage on the other guys. You can see here, you know, just how consistent he was. And, you know, the guys second and third, you know, they've been really consistent in this Stock 1000, man. It's just such an exciting class.
It is. And I mean, I would think for Orange Cat, they're going to be delighted. I mean, it's a double podium for them. That's pretty cool stuff. And for Beaubier, with that decent points lead he's got after sweeping the weekend, and everybody behind him, you know, somebody that was on the podium wasn't on the next, so he got a great haul of points, using that, getting some very useful points, and riding, I think, very smartly, understanding that he's atop the points order. Don't mess with that at this stage. We'll talk to our winners when we come back.
Steel Commander Stock 1000 coverage is brought to you by Steel Commander Corp., a leading steel building manufacturer offering expertise, innovation, and a dedication to quality. And by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series.
We are back here at Barber Motorsports Park, all part of the fabulous MotoAmerica Superbikes at Barber weekend, and we have just seen an extraordinary ride put in by Hayden Gillum with the backdrop of the beautiful Barber Motorsports Vintage Museum. It is an extraordinary place if you're into motorsports of any kind, bikes, cars. Come on and give it a look-see. Take a look at the results here, and right there, obviously they're still sorting the results because of the red flag, but Hayden Gillum, it wasn't a lap up on Ezra Beaubier, but it was a comfortable margin.
Yeah, about 5 seconds there toward the end of the race, and Ezra did a great job there in second. Caleb DeCarroll rounding out the podium, Travis Wyman and Nolan Lampkin, talked about him a lot throughout the race. Taylor Knapp 6th, Joseph Giannotto in 7th, Jason Waters 8th, and Gabriel Da Silva looked like he had a problem there, but he still remained in 9th in the top 10, so that's a great start to his Stock 1000 year.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So with that, it's time to hear from our winner. Let's get down to Michael Hill.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. I'm down here with a very understandably happy Hayden Gillum, and very happy little boy as well. Daddy did good. Great job today.
Yeah, I don't know if he's super happy right now, but we took a little nap before the race, so that was nice. No, it was a great race. We did a lot of testing between Atlanta and here, and got some starts dialed in, and so that helped a ton for sure. And yeah, the whole Disrupt team, those guys have been working their butts off lately, and gave me a really good bike. We're gonna have to figure a couple things out towards like the end of the race. Hopefully, figure some stuff out in the Superbike race, but no. The Disrupt Racing 4SR Infinity Fall Protection bike was running really good. I can't thank Mark and Rob and Jose and Danny and Brett and Tony, you know, everybody, Jesse for sure, Dave. Yeah, it's been a good day.
And obviously, as you said, you're going to be back out on track later today, and obviously double duty again tomorrow with the Superbikes. 20 laps, that's going to be quite physical.
Yeah, it'll be pretty interesting. I don't know what the tires are going to do at the end of the race. I know this gave me a little insight, but I haven't got to do a whole lot of big stints, so it'll be interesting to see how it happens or how everything shakes out at the end of the race. So we'll see. I just got to get a good start in that one too, and hopefully I can hang with those front guys.
Thanks, Hayden. Let's make my way across then to speak to Ezra Beaubier. As you can hear the cheers down here, there's a lot of fans down here as well, but Ezra Beaubier, who continues to lead the championship. Ezra, good to see you, buddy. First chance for me to talk to you this weekend. Another solid job and extending the lead in the championship. Great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't have anything for Hayden today. I knew he had a little bit of pace on me, and I tried to keep him close in the beginning, but I just didn't have it for him today. So I just brought it home in P2 and make some changes for tomorrow and bring the fight. The Orange Cap boys have been working really hard. Yesterday I struggled pretty bad with front end feel, and today we started to get the ball rolling, and tomorrow is even more. So I'm just looking forward to keep progressing.
Looking forward to see you on track tomorrow. Let's move from one Orange Cat BMW to another, and another podium for Caleb de Corral. And you're not going to miss you in those leathers, are you? Bright orange, but you've taken to Stock 1000 like a duck to water, mate. Another podium, and 5 to go. You made the move on Taylor, and another valuable 16 points. Great race.
Yeah, it was an awesome race. I just got to give it up to my team. My Orange Cat Racing team's been working their butt off all week, trying to give me the best bike I can. And just huge thank you to Kirk, everybody who helps me out. This team is just so incredible. Mike Himmelsbach at Olin's, my mechanics, everybody's working really, really well together. So just super thankful to be a part of this team. And like you said, I'm just learning every session in the Stock 1000. I don't have very much experience on the 1000, so just learning every session, every race, trying to get better. And just huge thank you to Bell Power Sports, 183 CJ Knows, Bitcoin Bandit, Dianese, everybody who supports me, Nick, my other mechanic, Marissa, my amazing fiance. Thank you to everybody who supports the team, and let's go get them tomorrow.
I got to ask you just before we do the podium, what's been the biggest challenge for you moving on to the Stock 1000? We see it a lot with riders moving through from Junior Cup into Twins. Not seen many riders in recent years move from Twins to Stock 1000. What's been the biggest adaptation for you?
Just developing my riding style a little bit different to manage all the power. So especially here at Barber, trying to save tire life is huge, and just dropping that head and getting the bike up on the meat of the tire, because this thing, obviously, this BMW M1000RR has a ton of horsepower underneath it. So you gotta keep it planted and keep it tracking and driving forward.
Thanks, Caleb. And there's a big crowd down here. What about it, Barber Motorsports Park? Let's hear you. I'm going to hand back to you guys because I can't hear myself think. We've got a big podium coming up, and up next it's Junior Cup. Back to you boys in the booth.
All right, thanks very much, Michael Hill. And one more shot there. The young one, a little bit more attentive now and enjoying the celebrations with Dad. And just another great ride by Hayden. But, getting back to the great question Michael asked of Caleb about the adjustment, when I was doing my coffee with Creamer and Hayes, we were talking about it, and he said the biggest thing, and I think we saw this play out a little bit in that Junior Cup race, when you make these steps, is adapting that riding style, and not just the style, but the lines you have to ride. And he said, you come out of Junior Cup, you ride those big, long, swoopy things because it's all about keeping the momentum up. He said, you get into Super Sport and that level, and even the Twins, you need to start squaring it up because you got more power that you can drive off the corner with, and that's how I think Rocco was able to, to get by on Kayla. And then you make a step up to these bigger bikes with much more power but heavier. It's another huge adjustment, isn't it?
It's huge, especially on the 1000s, and you'll see the Superbike guys, when they get to the apex of the corner, they're picking the bike up because they're trying to get wide open. The sooner you can get wide open on the straightaway, obviously the faster you go, but you have to be on the meat of the tire, and that's one part that's really difficult to learn on the Superbike, because if you're on the edge of the tire, you can't really get wide open because it's going to step out and you're going to go out, probably high side. So it's one of those things you gotta learn, and you gotta adapt, and you gotta just keep getting better. But the good thing for a guy like Caleb is he knows it. He's not like trying to make the bike adjust to his riding style. Yeah. He's trying to make the adjustments himself.
Well, he has done a great job with it, because on the podium here early in his first season ever, and here is a look at some of the highlights here. Right from the off, Ezra Bobier tried to get down underneath Hayden Gillum, and Gillum absolutely would not let him through. And Caleb DeCarroll right up there in the front. Those two guys up front, as we watch Caleb run a little wide, and that let these two guys escape a bit.
Yeah, that let the first two guys kind of get away, and then we see here Nolan Lampkin making a move on Travis Wyman. This was the podium battle for the first half of the race. Travis coming right back on Nolan there into turn one.
And then Nolan coming right back on Travis, and but Travis just reading that to perfection, squared up underneath, and then he lit the fuse, and he came back, and there Caleb running a little wide and one again, and that's all it took, and Travis up and through, and then this beautiful move.
Yeah, great move by Travis there, getting on the inside of Taylor Knapp, and then Here you see Caleb into turn 5. Such a good job, not only making the pass, but not running wide to let Travis try to get under him. You can see he's trying to get a good drive, but Caleb did a really good job holding the line. And, you know, Hayden was just consistent and just kind of chipped away a couple tenths each lap.
Yeah, as he dropped off in his pace, the others behind him dropped off 2, 3, 4 tenths more, and he just drove a perfectly judged race. Ends up with a big win. And I like the comment he made, or I found it interesting about we did a lot of testing because after Road Atlanta, we knew we needed to find something. I guess they did.
No, they definitely found something, and now you can see the points now. Ezra still has a 24-point lead. Caleb 30 points back. Taylor Knapp 33 back, and Jeff May still in the top 5, 34 points back.
Yeah, it's nice to see his name there, even though we're not seeing him on the track at this point. But Hayden Gillum, who was out of it pretty much, has jumped up into 6th in the points with that finish here, and that is a good sign for him. And a lot of racing yet to come in this category this year.
A lot of racing, I mean, including a race 2 tomorrow. So,
yeah.
You know, you never know what can happen. We've seen some mistakes already in a couple other classes, and, you know, Hayden's only 35 points out. I mean, it seems like a lot, but early in the season, that's something he can make up if he keeps winning races.
Absolutely, and if he keeps riding the way he is, I think that's a distinct possibility. And that's one of the great things about these weekends where a class has 2 races, is if you had an off race, you've got a chance to get back into it and have a good one, especially if one of the guys in front has a little bit of an issue. But for a Hayden Gillum, if you're locked in and just riding like you are right now, it's a chance for you to really deal yourself back into the points battle.
And also the Stock 1000 class is so competitive. You know, with it, Ezra could have a not a great weekend and end up 4th or 5th because there's so many fast guys, and then you can really start to make up some points. So now it's just not making any more mistakes. They already kind of Road Atlanta did start out really well. Now just put your head down and try to just stay consistent throughout the rest of the season.
Well, I think it was wise for Ezra to, when he said in the interview, he recognized I just didn't have it for him. So grab those second place points. Don't try and be a hero and end up with 0 points.
Yeah, exactly. Just knowing that he didn't have the pace, just, not riding over his head, making a mistake. I think, Ezra's shown some maturity in his riding. I think a couple years ago, he would have probably thrown caution to the wind and tried to go win the race. But for him, knew he didn't have it today. Wants to make some adjustments, getting better for tomorrow. And, if he doesn't have the pace again tomorrow, take those 20 points again and move on to the next one.
And, of course, still plenty of racing yet to come here this afternoon. We're going to be having our Junior Cup category coming at you here in just a few moments on MotoAmerica Live Plus. Want to remind everybody, please, as the bikes are starting to queue up, if you don't have MotoAmerica Live Plus and you're hearing us here, please, you want to grab it because it is something very special indeed. If you're a motorcycle racing fan, it gives you so much access here as we are watching Junior Cup bikes getting ready to make their way out on track. A big thanks as well to Audio Technica for the mics, the headsets we're wearing that you've been seeing with us, and mics all around this track, bringing the sounds of this wonderful sport right into you in your living room or wherever you may be watching. So we'll be right back. Junior Cup coming up in just a couple of minutes. Stay with us.